in high definition, where news comes first. This is WECT News at Midday.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Nikki Bussey filling in for Kim Ratcliffe. Well, if you are out traveling or you have plans to head in and out of Wilmington at this hour, you might get caught in some standstill traffic. We have First Alert traffic reporter Caroline Waldrop in the studio with us to let you know what you should expect. Caroline.
That's right, Nikki, and it's all happening right now. You can see it on the traffic cam here on the Isabel Holmes Bridge that the boat is coming through. A tanker is coming through and traffic is at a standstill here. This is MLK going into the Isabel Holmes Bridge towards Leland. So be sure you expect delays. A tanker's coming through. We talked to the bridge tender this morning and he said it was going to leave the dock at Kinder Morgan around this time. And right now it's making its way to the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge. You can see it there. It's moving very slow, so it looks like it'll hit the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge around 12:30 today. So be sure that you are prepared for that, and you can see traffic at a standstill there. And as we head over to the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge, traffic is moving with ease, but it's about to go up any second. So just be prepared if you're trying to head in or out of town between this time and 1 o'clock that you will expect some delays there. And again, this is the same tanker that came in to the port city yesterday just before lunchtime, and now it's heading back to sea. So reporting live in the studio, I'm Caroline Waldrop. Nikki, back to you.
All right, thanks, Caroline. Well, we're learning about an arrest made in Wilmington today while a school nearby was actually put on lockdown. And we know police issued a warrant on Vance Street off of Shipyard Boulevard. Neighbors tell us police used something called flashbangs to stun the suspect. And that suspect was arrested with no struggle. An officer later suited up in a hazmat suit and entered the home for further investigation. We're working to get more information on the story, so stay with WCT News for any updates as they become available. 2 armed robbers are still on the run today, and investigators are asking for your help to catch them. Take a good look at the surveillance video. It's from the Fairhaven Mini Mart on Walker Street in Leland. Authorities say the men got away with about $100. So if you recognize either of these men, you're asked to call the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office. We also posted their picture on WECT.com so you can get a closer look there. And we have an update now to a story you first saw as breaking news on WECT News at 11. We now know that one of the store employees fought back at the robbery at the Forest Hills Food Mart. Authorities say 2 men, one armed, came into the convenience store shortly before 10 last night. One pointed a gun at the employees, demanding to see the safe. Now instead, one employee grabbed a box cutter in self-defense, and after a scuffle, the men ran away, jumping in a green Volkswagen with damage on the front driver's quarter panel and door. The Sable helicopter and the K-9 unit with the Wilmington Police Department helped catch a breaking and entering suspect. Now, officers saw 3 people running from Buffalo's grocery store on Wrightsville Avenue as an alarm was going off. Actually ran into the woods, and Sable spotted one of the suspects hiding in a bush behind the business. Then K-9 Arco found him and bit him in the face. Guthrie Sharkey, who's 16 years old, was treated at the hospital and then taken to jail. Hundreds of people are flooding the Schwartz Center at Cape Fear Community College right now. The reason? A 2-day shot at getting free dental work. Now, this service from the Missions of Mercy organization is for those who are living in serious financial hardship. They're offering nearly $500,000 worth in free dental work today and tomorrow. As a result, nearly 1,000 people are expected to come out from across the state. A long line of people even camped out overnight to be there when the doors opened.
They're pleased that they can finally get something done that they've been putting off for a long time. Many of them are in pain. For parents, it's being able to offer their children something they can't offer them all the time.
Well, the event is at the Schwartz Center on Cape Fear Community College's downtown campus. It lasts until 4 today and then will run from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Industry in action. You just saw Caroline Waldrop refer to this enormous tanker ship working its way down a beautiful sunny sunlit Cape Fear River. It is a gorgeous day out there. Noticed as we were taking a look at some of the surroundings. Again, the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge likely to go up before too long, but just a couple of very high cirrus clouds out there. Easy day to get a sunburn. In fact, as we take a look at those current conditions, 70 degrees, 39% humidity, 30.4 the barometric pressure. A very clear and cool day here in inland location. 68 for Elizabethtown, 66 in Whiteville, 65 degrees back in Oak Island. The digital Doppler radar does show a few high clouds streaming across the upland South Carolina cities of Florence and Columbia. And as we move through the next 12 hours, things are looking pretty good. 72 degrees for 1 o'clock, 71 for 4 o'clock. So a slow cool down as some moisture works its way back into the forecast. You'll notice the hour-by-hour forecast advertising rain showers to our west. Looks like some of those will start to crop up as we move into into Sunday. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll also take a look at what's going on with these temperatures. Been a little cooler than normal, and a Relay for Life preview is what the conditions will be like tonight out there at Ashley High School. Details explained in just a few.
All right, thank you, Colin. Well, some sad news today. Country music legend George Jones has died. Jones was 81 years old. He died at a hospital in Nashville, Tennessee this morning. He was hospitalized 8 days ago for a fever and some irregular blood pressure. With hits like He Stopped Loving Her Today, Tender Years, and the Grand Tour, Jones was regarded as one of the most influential singers in American country music history. Now, he would ultimately record more than 160 charting singles, more than any other artist in any format in the history of popular music. Nearly a dozen people are injured after a crash involving a bus and a train. Now, the train hit the transit bus at an unmarked crossing in Pennsylvania. The bus was carrying special needs adults. Emergency crews say at least 2 were critically hurt in that wreck.
There were a total of 11 people on the bus, including the driver. All 11 people were transported for evaluation. They were age ranges 30 to elderly. They were all mentally challenged.
Witnesses say the area was covered in fog at the time of the accident, but it's not known if that was the actual factor in the crash. A fiery collision on a highway in Afghanistan. A bus ran into the wreckage of a truck that had been attacked by Taliban militants. At least 45 people on the bus were killed. The oil tanker was left in the middle of a narrow road for several days after militants opened fire on it because police considered the area too dangerous to enter. Officials say the bus burst into flames when it smashed into the truck. Well, the new details on the Boston bombing case continue to unfold. We'll have the latest on this developing story after the break. And it sounds like a board game, but gators on a golf course? Yeah, they're not as much fun as they sound. And taking a look at your midday stocks, the Dow is up, but the NASDAQ is down.
You're watching WECT News at Midday.
The Boston bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev has been moved to a new location. He's now at a prison hospital outside the city, further away from his injured victims. Officials say that he and his brother were planning an attack on New York's Times Square. But as Jay Gray reports, police there say they're on constant alert for attacks like that.
Overnight, police shifted their focus as bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev was moved from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center to the federal prison in Devens, Massachusetts. That facility, about 40 miles outside of Boston, houses male inmates who need specialized or long-term medical care. Today, evidence teams returned to the scene where Johar was captured, and we now know in the days following the marathon bombings, he and his older brother Tamerlan considered a second attack in New York. Investigators say in a spur-of-the-moment discussion while they were on the run in a carjacked SUV, the brothers hatched a new plan.
They made a decision to go to New York with the remaining explosive devices that they had and to detonate one or more in Times Square.
But their stolen vehicle didn't have enough gas to make that trip, and later in the evening, Tamerlan was killed, Johar injured in a violent gun battle with police. There is no ongoing threat in New York, but high-security cameras still scan Times Square like they always do. While news of a potential attack weighs heavy for some in the place called the crossroads of the world.
I don't know how people could think like that, man. It's just really awful. And you bring it to New York.
Petrifying. You know, now you can't walk around the way you used to. You're always looking over your shoulder.
What many see now over their shoulders in Boston are signs of the unwavering resolve in their city to come back. Jay Gray, NBC News, Boston.
Well, one young soccer player's life is changed forever as she becomes paralyzed while on the field. We'll explain why this is so rare in such a young person. And it's a good day to get outside if you haven't already made plans, but enjoy it while it lasts. And we're actually still watching the situation on the bridge, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time if you plan on traveling that way. Colin's going to have a full look at weather next.
This is meteorologist Colin Hackman with your first alert weather.
Have you ever tried a three-point turn, and you have to go back and forth to try to turn around in a small area? These tugboat drivers just did that with this large ship. It moved through the Isabel Holmes Bridge. It's moving toward the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge. We're standing here upon the top of the battleship North Carolina, looking back off that direction. This is going to move through, so I think you probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 or 3 minutes before the Memorial Bridge goes up, because now that they have this straightened out, these tugs are going to send it right down the river, so there could be some hiccups. However, notice traffic is flowing, albeit slowly there on US 421 as you move in and out of Wilmington. So there are going to be some associated delays. Weather's not going to be an issue. We were just talking about this, Nikki and I were. What a great day to be stuck in traffic, right? You just roll the windows down, you crank up the music. It's nice outside. Temperatures in the mid-70s. We'll see winds out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour throughout the remainder of the day today. Pleasant conditions, very dry out there, and that's perfect for folks headed out to the Relay for Life tonight. You have outdoor activities planned, be it in Brunswick or even here in South County, New Hanover County at the Ashley High School track. That's where the relay is for the beginning of the event tonight. I think temperatures will be there in the low 70s, and then we'll lose some of that heating. So if you're headed out there, take the jacket with you, but take the sunglasses for the first half of the day. Then, of course, tomorrow this goes on all day. We'll see an influx of cloud cover, but none tonight, as clear skies will overrun Bladen, Brunswick, Pender, and New Hanover counties, Columbus County as well. Some very nice conditions. Here's another nice spot to be. Check it out. People out there at Wrightsville Beach, as we look at the WBLiveSurf.com camera in bikinis, surfing. What month is this? It's like somebody flipped a switch. People really enjoying the great outdoors today as we have some gorgeous conditions as predicted here across eastern North Carolina. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the forecast here. Those daytime high temperatures today likely to go into the mid-70s. That's because of all of that sunlight. Tomorrow we may only go up to 72, maybe 73 degrees. You'll notice the temperature still in the upper 60s, but everyone except the immediate coast is going to get into the mid-70s. And then it's this that we'll be watching. A lot of shower activity continues to fall across the Ozarks, the southern Missouri, and central Mississippi River Valley. It's going to pose problems for folks there. Fortunately for us, it doesn't look like it's going to be quite as potent as it comes through eastern North Carolina. Here's a broader view. You can see a low pressure center back up off of the St. Lawrence Bay, and then this system that's a little bit more compact, has some thunderstorm activity associated with it because of the warm air that's moving up through Missouri. You'll notice it just kind of takes its time getting here, kind of a war of pressures here. High pressure in control. We'll see that defend us against shower activity for most of the day on Saturday. So you have plans outdoor on Saturday. Here's 7 a.m. Showers in western North Carolina. Fast forward to noon, still showers in western North Carolina. Not a lot for us, but the slow moving nature of this storm means that our number is going to come up. But it looks like it's going to come up later in the weekend, maybe as we go into Sunday or perhaps even into Monday. So some mild and nice conditions are expected here as we go throughout the weekend. 20% chance of precipitation on Saturday, 30% chance on Sunday. And then, like I said, our number gets pulled and we'll see temperatures at least mild there, but rain chances are going to move up significantly as we go into the afternoon on Monday and Tuesday. Some of the models indicating we could see a half inch, maybe even an inch of rain between late Saturday, but more so Sunday late through Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking earlier, on days like today when it's warm but kind of chilly and sunny, it's really easy to get sunburned, like you said.
Yeah, you don't realize you're getting that exposure because you're not sweating, so you just think, hey, wear the sunscreen. Great point.
That happened to me, so I know what that's like. So wear the sunscreen.
Yep.
Thanks, Colin.
You bet.
All right, well, a youth soccer league is showing new teamwork off the field after one of their players was suddenly paralyzed. In tonight's Life Watch, Chris Sanchez has more on what happened to the 12-year-old goalie.
12-year-old Mariah Serratos worked hard to learn how to get into her wheelchair on her own. Just 1 month ago, she was a happy, healthy kid looking forward to her 9th year on the soccer field. But on the morning of March 22nd, Mariah felt tingling in her leg.
At first, I thought my leg was asleep.
The tingling, numbness, and pain spread up her legs all the way to her waist. Out of nowhere, Mariah suffered what her doctors say was a paralyzing stroke in her spine. Spinal strokes account for less than 2% of all strokes in adults and are even more rare in children.
When they told us, it was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, no, this is not true. You know, it was a big shocker to me. I'm like, how can a healthy child not be able to walk again or feel or move? Happen, you know, dancer, she played soccer, and I mean, she never complained anything. So that was a shocker to us.
Mariah missed her first soccer game in years, and when the team found out why, they started raising money to build a wheelchair ramp at her house to make the bathroom accessible, and they hope to get Mariah's family a vehicle she can use.
It hit everybody right away because we all have kids the same age. So everybody that saw the story immediately thought about their own daughter or son and thought how it would change their life and what these guys are going through right now.
Though Mariah's doctors told her she will not walk again, Mariah says
they'll walk again.
And play soccer again, too. The Serratos family is thankful for the financial support, but even more thankful for what the team and the league have done for Mariah's spirits.
Her soccer team has been really, really great with us. I don't know how to even thank them because they've been supportive being here. The girls have been here every other day. They come, her coach, they call. They're just not left us, you know, and I think that's helped Mariah a lot.
Yeah, I'm thankful for my soccer team.
Well, the league made t-shirts with the slogan "Stand for Mariah," and through sponsorships and sales of those shirts, it has raised more than $20,000. Well, some of the world's best golfers are in Louisiana right now, but this week's gallery may not be what you expect. Alligators are all over the place. More on the course hazards coming up.
Today on America Now.
All right, some bad news if you have a rat problem. The rodents are becoming immune to poison. And see how scammers are now preying on military personnel. Get the information you need to know coming up today at 2 on America Now. And then here's a look at what you can watch tonight on WECT and Bounce Wilmington.
Here we go again, and this time there are very real effects on the American people. If you've been around an airport this week, chances are you've been touched by the lack of Congress being able to come to an agreement on the budget cuts. The so-called sequester is leading to furloughs of air traffic controllers across this country and causing big delays in some of our largest airports. And guess what? There's finger pointing going on in all directions. And there is plenty of suspicion that this may be manufactured because of some warped political motives. The sad fact is we're getting farther and farther away from our goal of harmony in Washington, D.C. Many of you know how frustrating it can be to sit on one of those planes just waiting to take off and not having control of your situation. Here's a thought. Say we load the FAA, the President, and Congress on one of those commercial airliners, sit them out on the tarmac in the heat for a couple hours, and let them think about what they are doing. They might just come up with a better way. That's my turn. Now it's your turn. To comment on this segment or anything else, email me at yourturn@wect.com.
Well, some serious golf hazards at this year's Zurich Classic Golf Tournament in New Orleans. Seems a few course residents are interested in disrupting play. At least 3 alligators made their way to the middle of the fairway yesterday. Water hazards in the rough of the area. The alligators did let the golfers play through without anyone getting hurt, so kind of tough there. Well, something else that's kind of tough, sitting in traffic. Look at this.
Take a look. There's the traffic backed up. You want to know why? Take a look at our other shot there. Big old tanker working its way down the river, but at least it's a nice day out there. High temperature, 75
For sure.
degrees.
Just crank up some tunes and have fun.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.